Welcome students to our literature virtual class, and in this case we're going to try to discuss the questions that you were supposed to be presenting for chapters number 3 and number 4, and eventually this is going to be helping to increase your study material for your final exam. On question number 1, what further examples of the difference between the pigs and the other animals occur in these two chapters? Well, in this case, we can say that the pigs only direct and supervise. They do not actual work, right? So no one but the pigs puts forth any resolutions at the meetings. Napoleon and Snowball disagree over everything. The harness room is set aside as the pigs' headquarters. Snowball busies himself forming committees to solve real and imagined problems. The pigs try to teach the other animals how to read and write with unsatisfactory results. The apples, for example, are set aside for the pigs' use only. Question number 2. What are Napoleon's ideas about education? Basically, he thinks education is more important for the young than for those already grown up. He takes away Jessie and Bluebell's puppies to educate them. Question number 3. How is Squealer able to convince the other animals to accept whatever Napoleon decides? Well, in this case, we can say that Squealer uses outright lies. In between quotes, we can say scientific proof, but obviously we already know that this is false, of course. And he appeals to the animal's sympathy. He always ends with the threat that Jones will return if the pigs are not obeyed. Question number 5 in this case, because we're going to leave it outside the description of the Battle of the Cowshed because this is like a personal analysis. But in this case, on number 5 it says, what was Snowball's part in this battle? Well, because Snowball has studied Julius Caesar military strategies, he is able to plan a very successful defense of the farm. He leads the animals in the attack and is wounded slightly. Next question, where is Napoleon during the battle? We can see, and you are going to be agreeing with me, that no mention is made of him on these activities, which leads one to believe that he played a very minor role in this battle, or eventually none of it. What is the significance of the gun's placement at the foot of the flagpole? Well, the gun symbolizes the successful fight against the humans. It will be fired ceremonially twice a year to celebrate the Battle of the Cowshed and on Midsummer's Day, the anniversary of the rebellion. So after discussing, or maybe if you have taken the time to compare, in this case, the answers that you did write for your assignment in questions of chapter number 3 and 4, I really hope that you have corrected ones that you should have. And basically, what we're going to do next is to talk about chapters 5 and 6 summaries, because in this case, you are supposed to have already read these two chapters. Okay, so about chapter 5, Molly, the horse, is seen consorting with humans who have pet her and giving her sugar and ribbons. When Clover, the draft horse, confronts her, Molly abandons animal form and the rebellion. Meanwhile, Snowball wants the animals to build a windmill that will provide electricity, heat, and running water in each stall. But Napoleon disagrees with the idea and urinates on Snowball's diagrams. When Snowball tries to present his idea to the animals at their weekly meeting, Napoleon reveals the 9 dogs he has trained as guard attacked dogs, and the dogs drive Snowball from the farm. When some animals protest, the sheep drown them out by bleating. 4 legs good, 2 legs bad, and the dogs growl menacingly. Napoleon soon tells the animals that they are going to build the windmill and that it has always been his idea. With the aid of the 3 growling dogs, Squealer convinces the animals to believe this. Although they are working a 60-hour week, including Sunday afternoons, the animals are happy during the next year. They believe they are working for themselves despite being threatened with half rations if they do not work on Sunday. Because of construction on the windmill, some crops are not planted on time and the harvest is not nearly as good as last year's. The animals devise a way to break up the stone they need for the windmill. Boxer gets up earlier to work harder. The need for seeds and other supplies causes the pigs to begin trading with other farms, first selling a load of hay, but warning the hens that their eggs may have to be sold as well. Mr. Whymper, a solicitor living in Willingdon, serves as intermediary. Squealer assures that animals no resolution had ever been made forbidding trade with humans. The pigs move into the farmhouse and begin sleeping in the beds. The fourth commandment now says, "No animal shall sleep in a bed with sheets." With the dog's aid and the threat of John's return, Squealer convinces the animals that the rule had always referred to sheets. When the half-built windmill blows down during a storm, Napoleon accuses Snowball of destroying it and orders the animals to begin rebuilding it. So according to what you have already read in chapters 5 and 6, and with the help of the summaries that we just read, let's try to answer as your next assignment the next questions. Why does Molly run away from the farm? What changes have been made in the weekly meetings over the last year? Explain the windmill controversy from Snowball's point of view. Explain the windmill controversy, but now from Napoleon's point of view. What changes does Napoleon make after his dogs chase Snowball off the farm? And why don't the other animals protest Napoleon's decisions? Now you are going to try to identify how the animals now arrange themselves when they enter to the barn and receive their orders as compared to the description in chapter 1. Think about a compare and contrast activity in this space. Obviously, you're going to write your notes on your notebooks. The other question in this case will be, what is the importance of the dogs accompanying Squealer when he comes to talk to the animals? Again, we have some other questions. In this case, these questions are related, most of them on chapter 6, but eventually you are going to need some information from chapter 7 to understand and answer them as well. In this case, the questions are, as you may see on the slide. How much work are the animals now doing? Why does Napoleon decide to engage in trade with neighboring farms? How do the animals react? How is the windmill destroyed? And why does Napoleon blame Snowball? Why does Napoleon insist the windmill must be rebuilt immediately? Why does Napoleon order that the hen's eggs be sold? And finally, your reading assignment. Okay, you are going to be reading chapter 7 and chapter number 8. Remember that you are going to be needing the information gathered on chapter number 7 to answer some of the questions that we already left in these PowerPoint presentations. See you on our next live lesson class.